Hi everyone, my name is John Mwindi, the founder of Experts Version Solutions and the creator of Personal Financial Management program, where we help you understand your income, your expenses, your Hi everyone, my name is John Mwindi, the founder of Experts Version Solutions and the creator of Personal Financial Management program, where we help you how to, where we help. Hi everyone, my name is John Mwindi, the founder of Experts Version Solutions and the creator of Personal Financial Management program, where we help you understand how to manage your finances so that you can achieve your financial goals. You can achieve what you ever wanted to achieve in life in terms of your finances. Now, in our last video, we looked at the academies that fall under Personal Financial Management program, and we looked at budgeting, debt management, and also investment options. The three academies are under the Personal Financial Management program. So in our last topic, when we are looking at the first unit under the budgeting academy, so we talked about, we have the Personal Financial Management program, where we have the budgeting academy, and we have the debt management academy, and we have our last academy under the Personal Financial Management program, which is the investment options academy. So, and we said the first one is the financial literacy, you understanding your source of income and how to grow your income. And just a simple breakdown, if I can just do a simple recap of what we talked about yesterday, is under budgeting, we said you can either do three things with your money. We said you can either save, spend, and invest. Okay, so we said you have an income which you can either save, spend, or invest. Okay, so yesterday we talked about income. What's your source of income? How sustainable is it? That's where we were talking about the rich dad, poor dad, talking of employees, self-employed or specialist, business owners, and investors. And we looked at deeper details. So if you've not, check out our last video on understanding your income. Then today we're looking at saving, and that's an element under budgeting, because saving is hard, especially if you don't have the discipline. Remember, we also said that for you to become a good saver, you have to be disciplined. Discipline is key for you to achieve your savings plan. And today we're going into deep dive on understanding the savings. So I'll go straight to here. Now, let me do this. Yesterday we said your money comes, and I referred you to this book, The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where we said you're either an employee, self-employed, or a specialist, lawyers, doctors. You're either a business owner or an investor. So you can either make money from the four quadrants here, and we said after money comes in, you either spend, save, or invest. So we looked at this yesterday, and we said these are the three things you can do with your money. Today we are looking at saving. Okay, how do you achieve your saving goals? How many savings account do you need, or must you have, or can I have more than one savings account? Anyway, is it even necessary, or why should I be saving rather than maybe investing? And what is this that we call saving? Okay, so to help me introduce this concept of saving is the importance of something we call an emergency fund. An emergency fund, let me explain what an emergency fund is. Right now you're working, maybe you are from this quadrant, you have a salary, which is your main source of income. And you're trying to put some saving or some investing, which should be your number one priority saving plan. One is an emergency fund. Most of us, we should be prepared in case something happens. So you have a child, maybe you have your source of income is you are an employee, and you'd like to have some money to cushion you in case something happens. Let's say you're terminated or you're fired or something happens, like it happened to me once. I used to work in a company that went under, it collapsed. And if you don't have an emergency fund, believe me, it's a really, you go through a really tough time because you have bills to pay. And the worst situation is if you are a poor person. Remember yesterday we said, let me do a simple recap here. We said you have this is a cash flow quadrant where you have your income, you have your expenses, and you have your assets, and you have your liabilities. Now, if you have your income that goes to buy stuff, you become poor. You buy stuff. Okay? So money comes in, goes out to expenses. You don't have a savings plan, you don't have an investment, so you're a poor person. What happens when your salary is discontinued here? Then you don't even have anything to meet these expenses, so you're doomed. Okay? So what happens when you're coming up with an emergency fund, even this, then, or the second one we said, if you're a middle class, your money comes in. I can try use a different pen here. Your money comes in, you buy liabilities, goes to expenses, out. So this is middle. Okay? And you have a rich person who is rich, so money comes in, goes to buy assets, then assets give money back. See? So this is rich. Now, this is the importance of having an emergency fund. So, if you're a poor person, you don't have an emergency fund because your money comes in and goes out through expenses. If you have an emergency fund, if you are the middle class, then you have liabilities to pay. So this is how your expenses goes. So if this is discontinued, then you can cushion yourself, pay your expenses and liabilities. You can meet your expenses here for, let's say, 6 months. Others recommend 3 months, 6 months, others even 1 year. This is relative. You can say, I want to cushion myself for 1 year. In case something goes bad, I'll be able to sustain this lifestyle. I'll take care of my kids, I'll take care of my medicals, I'll take care of my debts. So this is why it's really important for you to have an emergency fund, because in case something happens to this income, especially for employees or self-employed people, in case something happens to your business, or in case something happens to your employment, then you're still able to meet your expenses. Okay? So the worst situation, and I can spend time and again explaining, is to try not to get here. Okay? Try as much as you can to get out of being poor, buying stuff. At least make sure at least you have something here. This will cushion you. This will cushion you. This is an emergency fund. You need to have. So what are you saying? We're trying to bridge a gap that when this is discontinued, your income is discontinued, you can still meet this. So you need to work out your expenses, the basic expenses. Okay, the expenses that have to be paid, the liabilities, the debts that you have, how much do you need to have to cushion yourself? And for how long will you be comfortable? Okay, if you say 1 year, in case in a worst case scenario, you'll be able to still meet this as you look for another source of income. Okay, and that is why I'll also like us to talk about, introduce this on investing. That's why it's important. If you have asset columns that are generating income, then the burden on paying your expenses can be even zero, because you can have whatever you have as return on investment is sufficient to even cover your expenses. So an emergency fund is something, is a savings plan that will help you. The first one, which is an emergency fund, something to cushion you in case there is an interruption in your source of income. One other important thing, which is also covered under our second academy, the debt management, is when you've taken a loan, when you've applied for a loan and you've qualified and you've taken that loan, you have an obligation to pay no matter what happens here. Okay? Whether there's an interruption because the company went under, or regardless of what happens, you have an obligation to pay. So it's very important not to keep yourself so much exposed. Have this to cushion you. At least if you have a liability you're paying, make sure at least you can cushion yourself. That's from a personal point of view. There are retrenchment covers. When you're taking a loan, you can have the retrenchment cover that can also come to supplement this. But it's your personal initiative first to make sure that you reduce you minimize your exposure. And the safest place is if you have asset columns that generates more additional income, such that you're saying now you have income one. No, this is the main income one and income two. So in case this one is discontinued, which is from your employer, then at least you have some money that are able to pay for your expenses. Okay. So that's the importance of an emergency fund. Thought bringing these will help you just relate and have that framework to make sure that everything is able to flow. So you have your income, you can either spend, save, or invest. So why are we talking of having a savings plan? Because the three types of people, there's the poor people, there is the middle class, and there is the rich people. Yeah, goes into buying stuff. The middle income, you have your income that comes, but you have liabilities which now move out as expenses. So you should always have an emergency fund to cushion you in case there's an interruption or this income is discontinued. At least you can meet your expenses, including your commitments to loans. Then there is the rich people who have the income, they buy assets. An asset is anything that puts money back to your pocket. So the asset is able to generate much more income that forms like a secondary income. So when this is discontinued, you're still able to have asset generating more income, and which can even at times surpass your expenses. And that's what we are looking at. And this is not short-lived. An asset will be there. Let's say it is shares. And as long as the companies are there, then you still be able to meet your expenses. So, which is number one savings plan? Having an emergency fund to make sure that in case anything happens, you'll still be able to stay afloat or to pay your commitments or reduce your exposure. Your kids don't have to be sent home. You're unable to meet the medical expenses. If it's insurance covers you have, then you'll still be able to pay for them. If it's any expense that is basic, like debts, then you have a backup plan to make sure that they're paid and they're paid on time, and then gives you a breather to know that if you're looking for an employee for a job, then you're safe. You still can eat, you still can feed your kids, you can take them to school, you're able to pay your loans, and that's the best thing to, that's the best sense of security that you can have. So first is an emergency fund. About what other saving plan should you have? The other one is called, these are other savings accounts. Sorry about that. So I might have to use another one. You can have as many savings accounts as possible. Maybe you're saving for a holiday. It's very important. You can have a savings account for that. You can have a savings account. Maybe it's you have a car. You planning because you have to renew the insurance. You can start planning, so you can have like motor savings account, motor vehicle. You anticipate to do repairs for your office, for your house, for your everything. You can have as many savings accounts as possible. But the first one is this one. You can do a direct allocation once the income comes in, because we say here at least 10%, here at least 10%. This one depends. You can do 70% goes to the spending, 10% this goes to your tithe, which is, we say, if you're Christian, that is like a savings. So you can do a direct allocation of the emergency fund. Or still, if your channel is this one, where your income comes and goes to buying stuff, you can look at which are these stuff can I cut back on and allocate more money to the savings plan. See, that's now the relationship. That's why I thought of having this platform for you to be able to just relate. So first, have an emergency fund. Once the emergency fund is done, let's say it's 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 1 million, it doesn't matter. It will depend on your income and maybe your commitments and your expenses and how safe you want to be. So after you hit that emergency fund level, you can allocate whatever you used to go to this one to your investments. Because remember, an investment, you're creating asset columns that will add additional income. So you can have as many savings accounts as possible. You can even have a stupid, sorry to use this word, stupid mistakes. Stupid mistake savings account, and have some money in that account in case you don't make those stupid mistakes. Like let's say your car gets clamped, or some parking fees, or something that just out of some carelessness. This is you're just trying to put some money out of from your income just to cover you in case there's anything that is really like a miscellaneous, but it affects your cash flow. Okay, so you can have as many savings accounts, and we all know that. And it's easy to say that, hey, let me have this savings account. And you're going to have that emergency fund, but this is really critical. You should have this. Then these are the things. These are the savings accounts. You can have even up to 5 accounts. I'm talking to, especially, for example, let me use this example as a banker. You can have all those savings accounts. And I think most of the savings accounts are free. So when your salary comes in, it's very important. And because saving requires a lot of discipline, And I want to save you the hassles of saying, when salary comes in, I'll try get this much, put it in a savings account, and then before you realize, then again, you're there, because we save, and then you realize you didn't do your maths well, then you're going the next morning to kill your savings account, and becomes a cycle. And at times you don't get that motivation to keep going and having that savings account funded. So what you do is you can automate. Automate that process, okay? Fast. You can even have a savings deduction done at the corporate level, or let's say at the HR level. If you're in banking, join the Kenya Bankers. If you're in any company and there's a deduction that goes to a savings account that can be done at that level before even money hits your salary account, give it priority. Have it done. Okay? Automate that process. Whatever comes in, you can have those accounts and do your standing orders. Most of the standing orders are free, and especially like if I can talk to some of my colleagues here, if you're watching me right now, have it done. Put some deductions at the Kenya Bankers level. Then you can have all these other savings accounts. Put standing orders. They are free, and it goes to your savings account. You can have as many savings accounts as possible, and you can have that done. If the salary hits the account, let's say Kenya is on 24th, on 25th all those savings accounts are funded. So when you give yourself a discipline, 26th is when you can access the money, or just make sure that once the salary hits the account, all your savings accounts are funded, and it's easy. Okay, I think we're living in this is a digital age where most of the internet banking platforms you can even open those accounts from the comfort of your office, or just log in and create those savings accounts and put standing orders into those accounts. The standing orders, especially for staffs in many employments or in many banks, inter-account transfers, they are free. So you can automate that, and that way you'll be able to achieve your savings goals. Okay. So priority one, this one. So you need to analyze this, and if there's any amount that you can cut back before you even squeeze yourself so much from your income, you can cut back that and add that allocation to the savings account. How do you do that? It's easy. Don't use your willpower. Because what happens is, somebody was giving me this example, and I loved it. Since the time we were kids, and you could be you're there with your parent, your uncle comes or somebody comes and gives you money, the first thing is to buy some of those goodies, go buy some chocolate, some ice cream. And I think it's the same mentality that also as adults that you're working with. When you get your salary, the first thing you do is to buy some of those things. I think I've missed this. I think I need to go out. I think I need to, before you even sit down to work out your maths. And if you are relying on willpower, before you sit down and say, I think I had decided to be putting this much into my savings account or this much into my emergency fund account. Time is gone, money is gone, that's done. That's 1 month. And remember, if you're employed, you only touch money 12 times in a year. So if that's gone, you have 11 to go. 2 months gone, you have 10 months to go. And you only have 60 years, up to 60 years. Before you realize time is up, you're gone. And you've been using your money to buy stuff. So money comes in, you go spend. Money comes in, go spend, okay? So I would recommend that first, make that, if you're joining employment right now, please don't be blinded by that curve. Money comes in, buy stuff without looking at this too. I think you've seen what happens in this. If you're able to have investments, you're able to supplement your income. If you put yourself into debts first, you increase your money out. And at times, this grows bigger because whatever you bought as liability has other related costs. And you might find whatever comes in is less than what is going out. So you're grounded. In case something comes up and you don't have an emergency fund, you get an exposure, bad exposure, see. So, number one thing, automate this. Let it be done at the corporate level, at the HR level. Whatever other savings accounts you have, doesn't matter, even 500 shillings, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, depending on the levels of your income. And I think also, like, even the insurance for you to cover yourself, like the medicals, you automate them. Okay, so it's important that you have all those accounts, but don't rely on your willpower. Okay, don't rely on your willpower. You get your money, spend, and then you realize, what? I didn't save this month. That's really bad. So, what do you do? What do you do? I'm telling you, it's hard to do that. So, please, if you understand this, cushion yourself, okay? Have as many savings accounts, but don't rely on willpower. Do not rely on willpower. And I think that's what I really wanted us to share today about having a savings account that works, and what the main lessons that you can get from this is you need to have this. You need to understand the cash flow. So it's very important you understand the cash flow. Where are you? Do you buy stuff? Do you have liabilities? Are you planning to be rich? Then, why do you need an emergency fund? I think it's clear. If you have liabilities, reduce your exposure here. If you're poor, you need to cut back on some of this and at least save some money that can help you in future. So if there's that holiday that you've ever wanted, if you start saving slowly and you don't have stupid mistakes, you can put that money here, have a holiday. You know, it's life, you have to enjoy. I'm not trying to say that you have to be so mean to yourself. What I'm saying is you need to have a balanced lifestyle. You need to know, this is my status as of now. And if this is not working, how can I supplement my income? That's another course that is there. We have an online positioning. How can you start a business from your hobby? How can you leverage on the digital platform to create an income, or to inspire people, or to help people and make an income alongside that? It's easy now. Once you understand this, then it's easy to say, oh yeah, now I need to supplement my income so that I can invest more. See, I need to change. Instead of buying stuff, first I think I need to have this savings plan. But how can I accelerate my emergency fund? Maybe I can supplement that by having another source of income, see. So having this in mind will help you understand where you are so that you're able to proactively take correct measures, or to do what is right with your finances. Okay, so I think that's a key take home that will help you understand the importance of this, which is the first thing that is very important. And you also remember tithing. The 10% is actually a savings. So I'm a Christian. If you're a Christian, take the 10%, give it away. And at times people say, I don't even have an income to start savings. How do I do the 10%? Just have even the piggy banks. I want you to have the discipline. Just have the piggy banks, and like 3 of them. Whatever you get, whether it's 100 shillings, 200, 1,000, get a 10%. Put 10%, 10%, 10% on a tithe. 10%, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10%. That's the discipline. That's the first thing that comes into your mind, that money management is not how much you have. Remember, there's a lot of people who are here earning a lot of income, but instead of having this route, they have got this route. They appear to be doing very well, from the cars, from the yachts, from everything. They have very fancy lifestyles. But what is happening is they have liabilities, not assets. So it's the discipline, is how you see things, how you treat your coin. Money comes in. If you're able to have that discipline to save the 10 shillings, 20 shillings, 30 shillings, it's the same way after you'll be able to even see an opportunity and be able to have the right discipline to have an additional source of income, see. So this is the discipline that don't rely on willpower first. It's very important that you know the importance of this, so that it can at least create that momentum for you to start and move on. But you can save also that energy by automating, so that whatever is left is maybe, how can I supplement my income? That's where you start. Or how can I invest more? That's where you're starting to to look at your future. Other than struggling to run with a motor vehicle, trying to get 5,000 here, 2,000 to send here, you can just automate that process and it will be easy. And you'll be able even to work with what remains in your account. See? So you say, this is what I have. It's not that this is all we have. And then after spending 5,000, 10,000 you can't even account for, is when you're trying to have this one's done. Okay. So let me hear your comments or on this video, and remember to watch our last video on understanding your income. Today we're talking about investing. Remember, this is the basic financial literacy course and a budgeting academy, which will set pace when we go into discussing details on debt and also investment options. So if you understand this, which is the basics, then you'll be able to get a clear and proper understanding on how to analyze investment options. Why should I be investing in the first place? If it's a savings account, you're able to understand all areas on how should I be saving, what savings account do I need. So this is the best it gets when you're talking about money, and you can do it. You can supplement your income. You can have a savings account and achieve your goals. You can become that investor and have an income. Even in future, you don't have to worry about what happens to your salary, or after you go and retire, you're not dependent on pension and charities. You can even still be giving back to the community in a bigger way. So I hope that serves you, and thank you and God bless you. So remember to stay tuned for our next video on how now to understand your spending. Okay, so this is the other thing before we go to an introduction to investment. So thank you and God bless you.